Hello friends, welcome to JoJo Recaps Movies. Today I will explain you a 2007 Canadian romantic drama movie called Normal. In this movie we will be how a son establishes a physical relationship with his stepmother. Before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon so you won't miss our new videos. Coming up at the beginning of the movie, we see a woman named Catherine. She misses her son and Nikki died in an accident. Subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon so you don't miss our new upcoming videos. At the beginning of the movie we see a woman named Catherine. She misses her son and Nikki died in a car accident 16 years ago, but Catherine still hasn't recovered. Catherine hasn't let her son, who is Brady, know her as Nikki, which he always made displeased with her. On the other side we see a professor named Walt. He has a darling student, who is also a journalist. From the words of the woman who talks to Walt about his background, we learn that they are attracted to each other. In the next scene we see a boy named Jordy who was in prison. He didn't care much for anyone in the prison. He was convicted of stealing a car. After a few days his sentence is served. He is released from prison. His father is waiting for him outside. They didn't like each other much. On the other hand, we see Walt finds a newspaper clipping on the news of the death of Catherine's son, who keeps. The next day Carl tells Jordy, "You have a week to find a job," saying you have a week to find a job, saying that he is going to the office. Jordy's mother-in-law Alice tells him not to take Carl's word for it. He is only doing it for your own good. Jordy visits his brother in denial in his apartment. Dennis was not in a good state of mind and had not left his apartment for 2 years. Then Walt goes to see Carl because Carl is a psychiatrist. Walt tells him that he is going into depression because he asks him why. Walt tells him that one day he went out of his apartment and that he was in a bad mood. Walt tells him that one day he went out with his brother and on the way home his car collided with a car, killing a boy named Nicky. There was another boy in that car who was driving the car. He was wearing a basketball jersey. Then Carl realizes that the boy is none other than his son Jordy. Then Walt tells him that he will not be able to continue today's session. On the other hand, we see Catherine, who went every day to her son's grave to put flowers, and when no one was home she used to go to her room and cry a lot. On the other hand, Jordy opted for a job as a pizza delivery boy. The owner of this store did not want to give him this job because Jordy had a job to do. The owner of this shop did not want to give him this job because Jordy had a criminal record in the past. After a lot of force from Jordy, he gives him the job. The same evening he would watch the weather report on white TV. Then his wife seduces him, but Walt refuses her because he was busy watching Darling on TV. One day, while Jordy is enjoying himself, Alice breaks into his room and sees him. Jordy is afraid to see her. Alice leaves. When he sees her embarrassed by this, Jordy goes out and sits in the park. Then a girl named Melissa comes and sits next to him. Melissa is a good friend of Jordy's. Melissa tells him that she has just seen Catherine leave. Has she tried to talk to them? Jordy says that she is not sure if she has seen her or not. He tries to talk to them. Jordy says what will happen after he talks to her. Now Melissa convinces him that he should talk to Catherine. Melissa also invited him to the party. As she leaves here, Walt's wife dresses the kit and starts to go to her sister's house because he doesn't pay any attention to her. The next day after Walter Witch University Darling at home and becomes intimate with her the next morning. Then Chalice does her hair without clothes in front of the mirror. Jordy introduces herself. When she sees him, Alice asks what you are doing here. Without saying anything, Jordy approaches her and starts to seduce her. Alice also starts to enjoy it. Then they both become intimate with each other. Then she goes home. Alice also starts to enjoy it. Then they both become intimate with each other. Then she goes home. Jordy hides in the bathroom after hearing her voice. While Carl goes to the bathroom, he persuades Alice to sit down and becomes intimate with him. See the opportunity. Jordy leaves. After that, Alice and Jordy were often in Teamlin with. The other day Melissa visits Jordy's store. She asks him why he didn't come to the party that day. Melissa asks to see Jordy again. When she leaves after a party, Melissa drops Jordy off at his house because it is too late. He invites Melissa to his house and they start kissing while talking. Just then Alice introduces herself and asks Jordy about Melissa. Melissa says that she is Jordy's school friend. Alice gets angry one day because she learns that Denise used to be a friend of Jordy. Alice gets angry one day because she learns that Denise used to talk to a girl named Shella, so he invited her to Denise's apartment to make things right, sending her to Shelvis, because he hasn't seen anyone but Walt in 2 years. Shelby knew about Denise's condition, so she talks to him to make him feel comfortable. Jordy, on the other hand, starts to spend too much time with Melissa, which upsets Alice. When she gets home, Alice wants to talk to her about Melissa and him, but Jordy doesn't listen to her and not with Melissa. At night, Jordy thinks about Nikki and calls Catherine the next day. Catherine visits him. Jordy tells her that he was also there with Nikki in the same car that he stole. He says that it was my idea to steal the car, and in our haste our car crashed, but none of them knew that it was all Walt's fault. Catherine feels very good knowing all this. After she gets home, she burns all Nikki's things. Now she understands that Nikki is not coming back. She also apologizes to her other son Brady and tells him to do what he wants. On the other hand, Dennis also left his apartment after 2 years because he had an appointment with Shelby today. Today, Walt also realizes his mistake and goes to apologize to Catherine. Catherine tells him that she knew in advance that she had caused Nikki's accident and then leaves with Brady. On the other hand, Jordy comes home and by the Alice of his relationship when Carl is surprises and learns about Alice and Jordy's affair. After Carl starts to hit Jordy,